Deadly Sins of Aikido, Part 1. The Poison of Cooperation. There's an epidemic in the Aikido community, and that is there's too much focus on cooperation and training. Aikido practitioners tend to do this thing where they get caught up in the choreographed flow of techniques, and if you're not careful, it can rot your brain. Now sure, when you're a beginner, of course you cooperate, you know. The uke gives a committed telegraph strike, and the nage moves through the various sequences of technique. When the nage gives enough force, the uke takes ukemi, meaning they more or less comply and fall. The uke goes along so that the nage can continue to hone their technique. Both partners cooperate to enhance each other's learning. It's a big part of learning the ropes, what I call the training wheel phase. BJJ folks might use the term letting your opponent work. It's the exact same concept. But as any BJJ blue belt knows, eventually those training wheels gotta go flying off and cooperation goes out the window. In Aikido, you eventually reach a point where the nage and the uke have one job and one job only. The uke's job is not to comply, but to attack with 110% effort, and only fall if it's absolutely necessary. The nage's job is not to protect the uke, but to throw with 110% effort. They don't worry about their partner, they're just laser focused on their one job. If they do their jobs well, the uke will attack hard, and the nage will throw hard. The uke falls out of self-preservation. They get up, and the loop repeats. Everything flows. But again, this is something that you'd see at higher belt levels. The number one problem with Aikido today is the training wheels never come off, and you get stuck in this toxic loop of cooperation. They get addicted to training with a compliant partner whose behavior they can predict, and they neglect the chaos of live training day after day after day. This creates a false sense of security where you assume that a real attacker will be just as easy to throw as your dojo friends. Then it doesn't work and you find out that you deluded yourself. Obviously it works in the dojo where your partner knows the choreography, but it's way harder to do it on someone who isn't interested in harmonizing with you. Can you still make the technique work if they're flailing around and resisting? How if you've never trained that way? Being able to subdue someone who doesn't want to be subdued and to do it in a relaxed way is the essence of training. But the only way you get to that level is you have to walk down that much harder path. That means you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Training wheels, they gotta go. Spar with honest real-world attacks. Attack with intensity and reduce telegraphing. Incorporate pressure testing and live training. A great exercise to do is to grab some plastic bottles and have a knife fight. The uke tries to stab and retain their weapon, and the nage defends themselves. You can wear white t-shirts and try to stab each other with markers. And at the end, you can tally up the cuts and see how many times you died. If you really want to go all out, you can use a shock knife. Find creative and fun ways to break up the choreography so that you learn to engage someone who attacks unpredictably and expect the unexpected. A lot of people just avoid this because they're scared. Scared they might look bad or just scared of violence. What good martial arts do is they teach you how to embrace that fear and how to accurately simulate violence. That's the only way you'll be able to rely on technique in a real self-defense scenario.